Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Smash Talk. Today you've got me, Drew, and we've got Natalie and our good friend Callan Blumears. We just went over this.
Oh, you got it
Blumears.
right.
I was right. I didn't trust myself. So we have him, one of the four, really five, because we saw some of the appreciation posts for your photographer. So
Yeah.
shout out to him,
Yeah.
little cousin.
Cameraman Liam.
Yeah, that was cute.
But anyways, he's one of the four that's on camera with Mulligan Mafia. And, we are excited to talk about this. We were just talking before, and we really just want to pick your brain. We met you guys, a year ago at least now.
Yeah.
And you guys you and Brandon actually came to us.
Yep.
And kind of just checked in to see, you guys were getting started in that game. And you have a background in photography, video for like your actual career.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy to see how far things have come in just that short time. So let's start there. Tell us about your 1 year-ish journey in becoming, influencers, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. Like you said, a year ago we came to you. We really started the journey where I think like so many COVID golfers, we've played golf our whole life a few times a year. COVID happened. We got really serious with it. It got really competitive.
Yeah.
And then certain members of the group started buying new clubs. And then everyone started buying new clubs. And then we were playing 3 times a week because we wanted to beat the other person. And it just became really expensive. So Brandon and myself own a media company together, and we figured we could leverage the media side of us to work with golf courses, whether it's flying a drone for them, doing a review for them, like a video review. And that was the initial idea, just to offset the cost of playing golf. And we created a page to where we could post all the content. And then pretty quickly, like a few videos started to go viral. So we were like, interesting, what's going on here? And we just decided that we would go for it we'd given ourselves like a 2-year limit to just go for it and use the media company to keep powering the content, because it's tough. It's so hard, and I think if anyone's in the space, they understand how hard content creation is. It's a full-time job. Mm-hmm. I think you guys have full-time staff doing just your content creation. It's really hard to produce the content that's required to do something with it, but it's fun as well.
Yeah,
it's fun to get.
So when you say that it's hard, because I think it's so funny consuming and then also knowing people that create content. You hear both sides. When you're consuming it, you hear, hey, it's hard, it's a grind, and probably what is more of the reality. And then you hear people that are like, oh, it's easy. And usually that's followed up with, I've got a course, whatever it is. But in your opinion, are there multiple pieces, or what are the specifics when you say that it's hard, right? Is it just the time, like you were saying, to produce it all, or what else about it would you say is challenging?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, and we get asked by a lot of other creators as well. I think for us, we say it's hard because we go about it from a media perspective. So we're filming with 3 cameras, 3 GoPros, a drone, a stabilizer, all that stuff. And that's hard if you're filming 18 holes with all that footage and then you're editing 18 holes, it takes about 40 hours to produce an 18-hole video, which is nuts because we're not getting paid for it. No one's paying for it. We're just doing it for the love of the community that we've built. So that's hard. Organizing it correctly is hard on a storage system. If you're doing it like the media company approach, it's hard. I think if we filmed with a tripod and a phone, it'd be fairly simple. But we've noticed in the space that golf companies aren't really looking to work with the way to say it. If you're going out and filming a few bits and pieces on your phone, it's not really beneficial to a golf brand. They don't really get much from that. So if your end goal is to work with golf brands, it's hard.
Totally.
And it's expensive too.
Yeah.
To get the right equipment, it's really expensive.
Yeah. Do you have one person recording you guys while you guys are playing 18 holes, or do you guys kind of switch on and off?
When we first started, it was Brandon and myself, because the 2 of us have 20 years combined experience as professional cameramen, professional editors. So it was the two of us, and then we would train the other two how to do stuff. And then we saw enough of their footage to where we're like, okay, you're never touching the camera again.
I was like, was it hard to let
Hey,
go?
that's really smart on their
Yeah.
part. I just
Yeah,
throw
it really
that out
was.
there.
It really was.
They thought about that.
Yeah. And then we just figured that this was like a job for someone who, it's an easy job once you've trained someone. And then that's when cameraman Liam came into it, who's our little cousin, who's over the years, we have pictures, like he was at our first TV commercial for Mercedes-Benz. And he was there he was like 8 years old, and he was like trying to edit stuff for us. So he's just always had like.
He's had that bug.
He has. So he is like our main cameraman now. He does an amazing job. Every viral video we've had, like we got posted to Desire Golf, all cameraman Liam stuff.
That's awesome.
None of our own stuff. All his.
Dude.
So
Was it hard to admit that?
a little bit, because when you're a professional at something,
Yeah.
you just want to think that you're that guy, but sometimes you're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes cameraman Liam to produce this stuff. So that's been a huge help, and I know like a lot of other people don't have a cameraman Liam who's going to come out for free in the hot sun and film, and his payment is in and out on the way home, and he's happy with that.
Yeah,
he's
it's
happy
meal.
with that.
Make it a double-double.
Yeah,
Love
exactly.
that.
So that's the hard part about it. It's
Sure.
a 40-hour-a-week grind, and it's every single day you have to post, and to post every single day across 4 platforms is 15 minutes a day, and it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Brandon and myself have the conversation weekly, how crazy it is, and we admire other influencers and content creators so much because you do this for free. And we get asked by a lot of other creators like, oh, like how much are you guys making now? It's like, nothing. Not a single dollar.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? How is that possible? And it's just the reality. And I haven't really seen people speak about that.
Totally.
But yeah, we average 5 million views a month. We're not making a single dollar. Yes, there's like a little bit from YouTube and stuff like that, but it's not like we're full-time creators because we're doing 5 to 8 million views a month across platforms.
Totally.
So that's the hard part.
So when you said you guys give yourself a 2-year runway,
yeah.
has that changed at all? First, it's a simple question. Just has
Yeah.
that changed? Are you
No.
guys in, or is 2 years? Is there still a chance you hit the 2 years? You're like, this was sick. I'm out.
Potentially, yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, we have to look at it also from like a business standpoint.
Totally.
We own and operate a media company every week.
Yeah.
For the same time that we put into the golf, we could be doing
How much more could
weddings,
you be
We could be doing commercials for other companies, but we
Yeah.
decided to take the 2-year free and see
Yep.
where this goes because we have a real passion for it. So yeah, as from a business sense, you have to have that cutoff point for yourself.
Totally.
You can't just do something for free forever for
sure.
just for the love of it. Some people can.
Yeah.
But that's from a business standpoint, we can't.
Yeah, and I think that's a unique outlook because I think you guys have the media background because it is a very direct correlation. Like it wasn't like people that go do this after their 9-to-5 job or whatever it is, where they're a plumber and then they go out and film themselves playing on weekends and stuff, and it's like anything is extra for you guys because you're in this line of work.
Yep.
In the automotive scene and some of the other industries, it is such a direct translation. Like I could have spent this exact time doing it for a client and made twice as much money this month.
Correct.
So that leads me kind of to the second question is how much of the 5 to 8 million views and only getting a little bit off of probably shorts, it sounds like from what I hear is the most lucrative.
Yeah.
What is your guys' hope or strategy? Because you mentioned like if it kind of sounded like your goal might be to work with certain golf companies or brands.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that looks like, funny enough, because I've never been there in your shoes. And as a golf course, I don't think that's become really a standard yet either. Golf courses don't seem to have people that they put on payroll to advertise for them so much. Yep. And I think just speaking from our experience, like because we have times and stuff to trade. Yeah. So that becomes really easy from our point of view is, hey, while I can't necessarily pay you, you guys have to pay, and especially being a group that goes and plays scramble content, you have to pay times 4 and any fee for Liam to ride along, and you got to kind of bend to their will because they're like, oh, you have a camera crew, you're going to be slow, and I get all that. Yeah. So, but how, like, what's your guys' strategy to actually start monetizing it?
The strategy is basically, in the short term, is to work with golf brands. It's the quickest way to do it while you're essentially building your own community, your own platform. And I think our media background has also backfired with us because we do get approached, I'd say weekly at this point, from smaller companies. Hey, can we send you product and can you film X amount of pieces of content? It's like, yeah, sure. here's, this is the round of golf is $500 to go do that. It's something like people don't, I feel like brands just don't, they understand it, but they're hoping someone will just
Totally.
take that cost on the chin. And because we have the media background, we can't do that. We can't just eat a $500 expense and then spend 40 hours editing the content for a free golf polo.
Yeah.
Totally.
But a lot of other people do it because that's great.
Right.
You get a free golf polo, sweet. So I think the media background does bite us sometimes because we can get a little stubborn because we have that professional. We'll film golf content one day, and then the next day we'll go work on a production set where there's hired actors, hired models, there's catering, and we're paid our fee. So it's hard to like split that.
You're kind of back at ground zero.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, yeah, for the short term, it's definitely to work with brands. Like a club sponsor would be great. We've been reached out by like a few of the smaller club sponsors, but again, it's the same thing of create X amount of pieces of content but they won't cover any costs. Mm-hmm. So that's the short term goal. And I think uniquely we are pretty large golfers. We get asked all the time by larger dudes online, what joggers are you wearing? What polo is that? I can't find anything that fits me. So that's an angle for us in the future too, is to potentially create a bigger guy golf apparel. Because, are you a Lulu?
It's like a big and tall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever worn a Lulu golf shirt before?
I have not worn the golf shirts, but funny enough, I just got one of their new dress shirts that's got the long sleeves. I think it had pocket or no pocket, can't remember, but I just got one of them.
Okay.
But dude, them and Viore, their button ups and stuff like that. Like, dude, what's your take on the Lulu golf shirts?
It's like a straight jacket.
Yeah.
Dude.
Because they're made for like slim athletic people.
Yeah.
So that's fair, but I think, my typical shirt size is like a 2 to 3. Lulu, a 4 doesn't even come. It looks like I'm wearing like a wetsuit.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it's got to be in the material that it's made of, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got sort of a more traditional and, dare I say, like a boxy cutout when you have like cotton type shirts and things like that, just because these aren't stretchy.
Yeah.
But then you have, you basically take what leggings are made of that are intended to be small and stretch and all that, and they've applied it to shirts, and you're totally right. Now it fits you exactly how you look, and it's not forgiving. Like it works fine for the legs because your legs are stretching in a certain, but you're golfing, you have to rotate, you have all these other hinging pieces, and it's like, I personally, and this isn't a knock against it, I don't like Travis Matthews for that reason.
Okay.
Because to me, when compared to Callaway, which is ironic because they own Travis Matthews, but like Callaway and Adidas and some of the ones that have the stretchier, and they tend to be just a bigger fit outright.
Yeah.
I'm way more comfortable in those golf clothes. Even Johnny O is really nice because they have a standard line and a slim line, so they at least it's very easy to pick the option.
Yeah, smart.
But they're a nice stretchy material where Travis Matthews is like oh my God. And I personally have had, and this was a long time ago, so they could have fixed this up, but like I had issues with inconsistency. Okay. I had a large that looked like fit great and everything, and then I had another large that was like, and it felt like a schmedium,
And that's coming from a skinny guy.
Dude.
That's coming from a skinny guy. So bigger golfers definitely have a struggle getting stuff. So way down the future, that's something. So that's a whole different ball game.
Totally.
In itself. But short term is definitely to work with a clothing brand and maybe a club brand. That would help out a lot to offset the cost of production. Because if we can get a short term sponsorship, that will cover Liam's fee. We could hire an editor. And then that's when you can like really start to kick it into overdrive.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you, and I'd be curious too, because I've never been on the creator side or been like approached by it other than like Ghost Golf.
Yeah.
we joke about that.
Yeah.
But like, is there any room for that? Like when they reach out, what does that stuff look like? Is it like, hey, we'll send you a couple free things to try, and if you do X, Y, or Z, there's more to be? Or is it like pretty much cut and dry, like, hey, if you make us 5 pieces of content, I'll send you a shirt?
Yeah.
Like, because I can see that being part of it too, whereas people with an actual media background, I would imagine if they were more clear on like what the roadmap's like, not like, hey man, we'll give you this, like,
Yeah, it definitely goes, I'd say, one of two ways. Like the one is from the smaller brands. They just want to send you their stuff, and they just kind of want you to use it. And if you like it, you like it. Say something about it. That's great. We've noticed like the ruthless ones are the bigger brands, to where it's like, we'll send you this shirt for all 4 of you, if you create 3 pieces of content,
Yeah.
keep the shirt. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, we're fine. We didn't reach out to you. We don't need the shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a few productive conversations with bigger brands to where they have, offered cash our way,
Yeah.
but still it wouldn't even cover the round of golf to produce the content.
Totally.
So yeah, it's a tough one, and we're still small fish. We're still really, really small in the space. I think we just get lucky from time to time because we'll have a video that will just like explode, and Zyre Golf will pick it up. So yeah, we understand we're still really small in the space. We got people like Sam, who's a friend of ours out here, huge,
Dude.
huge for a.
I feel like I blinked and the guy's got a
Yeah.
500,000 subs
Yeah.
on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
it's
So cool.
It's
Yeah.
insane. He was there for shorts for day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for people with a bigger channel like that, they have leverage, because our only leverage at the moment is the media background. Your content will be created professionally. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all our leverage is.
No, but that makes sense. And I guess that it sounds like that's probably going to be one of the hardest things is like who budges first.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I remember meeting Sam pre like 100,000 likes on TikTok or whenever it was we met him. And that was the game he was in. He funny enough, he came from production too.
Okay.
Where I think he was like probably a PA. I could be butchering it, but
Yeah.
he worked in LA and only relocated back home because of the lockdowns and stuff. So
Okay.
when he came here, that's same thing. He kind of got up, and we actually found him because completely unbeknownst to us, he was like, "Hey guys, I'm back home, and this is my favorite driving range in Arizona." And it was about Dobson, and like.
Yeah.
5 people fired it over to me and were like, "Dude, did you guys like have this made?" And I was like, "No, but
Yeah.
I wish."
Yeah.
And that was my first real exposure to TikTok either, because that's how long ago that was. And so I just DM'd him, and then he actually came. And so that's what was kind of cool is we were like, "Hey, we need an editor." We had nobody at the time, or we had like someone who'd helped us with ads and stuff. But when you outsource from an outsource, it's like the turnaround's long.
Yeah.
So we were like, "Hey, let's try this new thing." We have Ryan, who's been with us, and then we have Sam. We were like, let's add a second body. And Sam did one type of content, and Ryan kept doing everything we've been doing from like the ad side, and he did great. And we really learned like, hey, when you have people on site, it's a lot more streamlined. It works better. So that was one of the cool opportunities where for a few months, Sam had enough free time that we could put kind of a retainer on for him.
Yep.
He'd walk around Dobson and make some funny videos like Natalie does now.
Yep.
And then we were like, yeah, man, and like just hit me up. I'll set you up with golf. It'll be free. Go make your own content on your own time.
Yep.
And it worked out great.
Yeah.
And but no, dude, I can imagine that like I don't know. I think that a lot of businesses, who knows how quick, but I think they're going to realize like, I feel like TV commercials are still dying to a degree.
Yep.
And billboards are gone, and like people are starting to wake up to like the word of mouth and the people to people side.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to kind of sit back and watch how many of them play hard to get and how many of them just decide to lead first. Like, hey, you know what? We've never worked with you guys. We're willing to pay you what you think you're worth and what we think you could be worth.
Yep.
And they do it on like a monthly contract.
Yep.
And if you're not performing, it's like, all right, it's over.
Yeah.
Versus this weird game of cat and mouse, like,
Yeah.
hey, we'll give you free stuff, do it. And if they like you, we'll give you free stuff and pay you a little bit. And
Yeah.
it just incrementally goes up.
Yeah, that's so interesting you said that about the TV, billboard side of it, because we see it on our professional work side. Like when we first started in 2014, 15, we were doing a few TV commercials a year because we were small time and TV commercials were still a thing,
Yeah.
essentially. We haven't done a TV commercial in years, but our biggest part in the media business now is TikTok clients. So
dude.
working with like medical offices in Arizona to produce and run their TikTok. So yeah, I feel like people in the creation space see what's happening first, and then everyone else kind of will figure it out later.
Figures it out later.
Yeah.
For sure. And Natalie's had a front row seat to it when she was working with us. That's how we found Natalie, actually. Like, have we even talked about on here how you became part of the team at Dobson?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a cold DM.
Yeah, it was a cold DM, and I was like, well,
She's like, I'm moving.
Yeah.
And yeah, tell them about that.
yeah, I was literally at my old job, and I knew I was moving to the east side, and I've always followed Dobson on Instagram, and I thought you guys were so cool. And I just took a shot in the dark, and I DM'd Dobson, and then that's how I met Drew. And
Yeah.
I knew it was you because you put your little signature down there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
put dash
crazy.
Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. But that's one of the things that, like, for a brick and mortar, like soft goods and all that stuff aside, I was really surprised with not only how much, because, you know, I joined this company, Paradigm and Smashers On, and they've done this for golf courses for 20 plus years, same thing. And we've talked about it, and it's kind of a dead horse now, but we had the idea of like a, God, why am I spacing on the name? What does Joe call it? It's not a influencer, but it's like a local one.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever he calls it.
Now you're making me blank. I don't know.
I know it's amnesia.
Yeah.
But anyways, the idea was like, we never sweated how much of a following or just numbers for numbers sake, but we looked at it like, hey, if you have somebody that is basically the face of each club we ever took over or were a part of, because then it's a familiar face. They see me or they see Natalie pop up in their emails or on their social feeds, and they're like, oh, cool, what's Dobson doing now? And they know, are they telling us about course conditions? Are they telling us about a new monthly special? And so you started to get these 2,000-3,000 follower accounts for the courses, but all 2,000 of those people could come golf.
Right.
When you only have 300 slots a day, like that's a really good reach.
Yeah.
Whereas like you guys are in this crazy game where you have to have hundreds of thousands of people because the conversions are so low that like until you can hit those numbers, people don't look and don't offer money contracts,
Correct.
right? Like that's wild.
Yeah.
Operational influencers. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I like
So
that.
operational influence, and that's what surprised me back to the initial thought was like, not only has it been cool and like people come in and high five me and my wife rolls her eyes and thinks it's the dumbest thing in the world, but like it's funny now.
Yeah.
And we've only been here for 4 years, but also I think at this point, everybody that works on the team at Dobson in one way or shape or form was a customer first.
Yeah.
And like, every week, 2 to 3 people DM us, hey, like I'm going to be coming to ASU, or hey, I'm looking for out of the career I'm in. I used to be in food and beverage. Can I work the bev cart? Like the amount of applicants we get there, like I haven't posted on Craigslist in years.
Yeah. Well, I saw it last time I was here with you.
Yeah.
When we were talking about our event and 2 people came
Dude.
for applications.
Just walked
I was
in.
like, does that happen like he's like all day long?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's crazy because, you know, that's another huge benefit for those brick and mortars like you guys are talking about. Like, think about it from a medical place. If it's like a plastic surgeon's office or an esthetician, there's these other nurses and people out there who hate the 12-hour grind. I say that because my wife's a nurse and she loves it, but there's a lot of people that work in the department with her that are doing this part-time, and then part-time turns into full-time, and the next thing I know, they're leaving the hospital because they like that.
Yeah.
And it starts with they're watching these doctors' offices. These people are having fun, not working crazy hours, and getting paid well.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the unspoken side of it too.
Yeah. The craziest thing, it's not golf related at all, is the one medical client we have. We filmed one TikTok, which took 25 seconds to film.
Yeah.
It took us 10 minutes to edit on our end. We posted it. It went viral on TikTok, and they booked, I believe, 15 surgeries from that one video.
Dude.
And it's like
What's the average price of a surgery? You know what I mean?
from
Like,
what I've heard, it's about 10 to 15.
yeah.
So from
Dude.
like a return on investment for that office for less than 30 seconds of the doctor's time, nuts.
Yeah,
Nuts.
dude, that is
Sheesh.
sick. But and that's where like having Natalie in the role she's in now, like it's been very easy to see because we always did kind of scheduled e-blasts that were generic, like, hey, book your tee time, and it populates the booking engine right in it because we don't use like an algorithm. We manually, like me and Winston, we sit there every morning and we change rates when it's hot, or we change rates when someone cancels last minute or whatever. And so now that she's doing it and you don't need these restrictions to post links in your stories, she'll throw one up every other day, like book your Friday tea time, and like you can see 30 link clicks.
Crazy.
Like it's so crazy how fast it is. And that's the cool side of the analytics that are in these apps too.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
The analytics are so important.
I know you mentioned Zyre Golf. So
Yeah.
did you know, like, did they reach out to you, or did they just post it and you saw it when they?
It was crazy. So do you remember when the Waste Management was here?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see the story of a guy climbing Chase Tower that same weekend?
Yes.
I did not.
Yeah.
I lived in a high rise directly across from Chase Tower, and I had my golf zoom camera with me. So I filmed this guy climbing Chase Tower, And I was on the phone with Shane at the same time, and I was like, we went at it from a golf influencer angle. I said, how can we post this to our golf page with this guy climbing this tower? And Shane was like, just film yourself putting in the apartment and show him. And I was like, genius.
Nice.
So we did this video about this guy climbing Chase Tower. It's our most viral video to date. It's like 13 million on TikTok. Zaire posted it, and then within like seconds they deleted it, and we were crushed. We were like, "What is that?" But because we signed it over to Barstool, they contacted us, and we didn't really know how that
whole
worked.
ecosystem works.
Yeah, so I think they got it pulled down, and then a couple months after, we had a video again go viral, and Zaire Golf had posted it. We didn't know they posted it because every time we were looking at the notifications on our phone, we thought it was the notifications from our own social media. And then I had like a few people send us the video, and
like, oh, you guys, you made it.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, like it was a cool video, and it hadn't clicked yet. And then they're
That's
like,
funny.
so like, how did that work? And I was like, what? They're like, it's Zaire Golf. And I was like, what? Zaire Golf? And then we saw it on Zaire Golf, and yeah, no, they didn't reach out at all. They saw it on TikTok
Just
as well,
pulled through it up there.
and posted it. But yeah, that was crazy,
dude.
That was big for us because that led to a lot of conversations with brands. Zaire Golf's huge.
Dude,
Yeah.
Huge.
We've talked about this
I know, it's
kind
my
of
goal.
offline before for
Yeah.
sure. But dude, yeah, I
Gatekeepers.
mean that's a whole nother game that like
Yeah.
you have people that just understand the game of it.
Yeah.
And they have absolutely no interest in being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And so they just surf for the next thing that they know will hit
Mm-hmm.
that just because someone's little and doesn't have a following and they just decide to tap you and boom, you're blessed and
It
it's
was
free
nuts.
money for them and free eyeballs for them and they're
Sure.
like, well, dude, of course we're helping you out,
Yeah.
man. You know,
Yeah.
like, so it's crazy.
Yeah, you know, they're kind of sneaky with the way they do it. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but if you're on TikTok and they post videos, they will credit the user's Instagram handle, so you can't click through to anything. And if they post it on Instagram, they
Keeps
credit
you on their feed.
They credit the user's TikTok handle, so there's nothing to they're crediting you technically.
Yeah.
But they're crediting your TikTok, so there's nothing to click through,
Oh, I didn't
which
know
is a
that.
bit of a bummer for
Yeah.
I only
creators.
remember that because we talked about it. So
Yeah.
here's the follow-up question. I'd love for people at home, like, why don't you guys weigh in?
Yeah.
Is it malicious or do you think it's something where it's like, oh, they don't want people to click off of their feeds, or talking about the analytics? And I will say, dude, I could not, you hands down have the best understanding of your guys' process that you think leads to things going viral, which we could talk about if we want.
Yeah, for sure.
But do we think that that's also a part of it where they've gotten to the bottom of, because from an app point of view, people talk about it a lot. The one thing that's important right now is attention.
Yes.
So if I credit your TikTok or your Instagram or whatever it is, like you can't click out of it.
Yeah.
So like, do you think that those are the types of things that feed in? So they're doing it because they know it doesn't hurt them, or is it because it's like, I don't want you to leave it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it's 1,000,000% calculated. I think as I run our Mulligan Mafia social feed, everything is done for a specific reason.
Totally.
So to credit a TikTok handle when you're on Instagram is done for a purpose, and I think the purpose is, one, they can check off the list that they credited the creator.
Yeah.
That's
They
one.
can't get hate from the community.
No, they can't. And then two, it's so important. We tell our work clients this is the biggest negative we can do to your socials is posting a video that gets someone to close a session. So closing a session essentially means if you're scrolling on YouTube, you come across a video and you leave YouTube, the app, YouTube logs that, they ding it in the video, and they'll stop showing that video to people because now they've just lost a potential customer,
right?
Because they get money from us watching ads on their platform. So if you have a video that's causing people to close a session, that's a huge no-no. I think Zaire's figured out that by crediting a handle that you can't click on, you can't go to the Zaire video and click our name, thus leaving Zaire Golf's page or leaving the app.
Yeah.
So they're covering themselves on all bases. They're not being
Makes sense.
dinged by the platform, and they're being nice guys by crediting.
Yeah. Dude, it's
For sure on purpose.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
For sure on purpose.
Those are the things why I will not be good at this.
Yeah,
I can't, dude.
It's so hard.
My brain doesn't work like that.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to think about.
That's why we got Natalie. That's why we got Ryan.
Yeah.
That's why we got the whole crew that's in this room,
Yeah.
because I don't work like that.
Yeah, but it's all a science.
Dude,
all
for sure.
stuff online
Yeah.
is a science, and we figured out our science on TikTok. Like when I'm editing, I instantly know what's like a 500,000 view or a million view video. But yeah, it's all a calculated
Dude, is
science.
part of it having to do with putting? Because I just
Yeah.
saw a comment the other day that someone's like, why do you guys just post putting things?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, putting's when like all their funny stuff they always miss.
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm sure is there anything else that has to do with putting? Like,
Yeah, we've just noticed, and I think there's like a psychological reason. There's like a resolution that the ball drops in the hole. As golfers, we love to see that like conclusion.
it's like
to
an
the hole.
understood climax. It's like you're
Done.
getting to.
Correct.
So you're either going to be sorely let down when they miss, or you're going
Correct.
to experience the joy when they hit it. That makes
Correct.
sense.
Yeah,
So-
the emotion.
So there's that. And on our end, the reality is our 3 biggest videos, apart from the Chase Tower guy, are all putts. So
Yeah.
that is what it is. We understand it. We accept it. And I just think it's so relatable. Any golfer in the world can relate to a missed putt.
Totally.
And everyone's a professional when they're on their couch
Yep.
blasting us. And it's so funny because like we're scramble golfers, and they're like, "You had 3 looks at it. How are you upset?" And I'm like, or not upset, happy.
Yeah.
Because we get hyped if we make it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I watched Charlie and Tiger Woods. Tiger missed a lot of Charlie's looked putts. That's Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And he still misses it. What chance do I have? I'm
Yeah.
just a camera guy.
Right.
I'm just a camera guy.
Totally.
But yeah, putts just do really well. And I think it's
At this point, I think it almost plays your guys' channel names anyways, like Mulligan Mafia. Like if there's one place to use a mulligan, it's
Yeah, it's
on
gonna
all
be
the
there,
short
yeah.
putts you guys are missing.
It's the putts. Yeah, and I think it just does really well for us because there's so many other creators doing golf stuff, like Sam's, his funny challenges, Whereas us, I'm not really sure if there's like content creators that post strictly scramble putt videos, if that
Totally.
makes sense. So I think it's like a different refresh for people to sit and watch.
Yeah.
And it's relatable.
Yeah.
I like that you guys acknowledge it's scramble, not best ball, too. That's just
Yeah.
a big pet peeve.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, people get confused. with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no scramble. Love a
That's,
scramble.
that's up there with like slow play. If there was 3 things that I could teach every golfer about, those are 2 out of the 3 right there.
Yeah.
The difference between what best ball and scramble. And it's not even because I care. It's because like I watch people get into arguments where they're talking about a scramble and one's like, that's a best ball. One's
Yeah.
it's a scramble. And I'm like, you guys are literally talking about playing the same format.
Yeah.
Just like listen to each other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Just hit the ball.
It's not
Yeah,
that
it's
deep.
like,
Yeah.
just, you know what? How about this? Hit the ball and pick it up and don't lose that group up in front of you.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah, and that's the reason we play scramble golf
Yeah.
on camera. We get asked all the time. It's like, why aren't you guys doing matches, or why don't you play, single? And it's like, because we're not at that point
not-
to where
yeah.
we can book out 4 tee times.
Yeah.
Because that's like the respectful thing to do. So you're not slowing people down. The only way you can film golf, real playing holes, golf
Totally.
content is to do it as a scramble. Otherwise, you're just backing people up and you're just miserable.
Yeah. And that's that fine line between like doing those things and like doing them at a course that's not so busy, but then
Yeah.
you need relationships because not so busy courses are either in terrible shape
Yeah.
or they're really nice and expensive.
Yeah.
Or you're going at the end of the day, so you can't do 18 if you wanted to.
No.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it is definitely a trade-off. Or you just use movie magic and you're like, yeah, the last 3 holes were a push, and now we're on 5. You know what I mean? Like we've seen that too.
Yeah.
So no, dude. And let's shift gears a little bit too,
Yeah.
because you guys also were one of the first groups. We've done a couple of them, and we actually, ironically, have one tonight for someone. But tell us about how your guys' first meetup went, because I thought that, like, talk about a dream team here.
It was, I can't thank you guys enough for it. It was amazing. Like every expectation we had, we were hoping for 10 people tops to show up. Cause like I said, we're small, we're still small. We're less than a year into this. And the reason it came about for us is I think I spoke to you about this. We get asked pretty frequently from people on TikTok, hey, when can I jump in on a scramble with you guys? And we always try think of how to make it work when people ask, because that would be super fun to play with people. But there's really no way to do that, essentially, because there's 4 of us. We can't add a 5th person to come play. And then, you had told me that you guys were doing the girls' night here, and we had seen you doing the coaching with the girls a few times. And it was kind of like a aha moment for us that this is a way we could play with people in Arizona who have reached out and wanted to just hit balls with us. And we were speaking with you guys, and the night just worked perfectly to partner alongside Coach Nat and the 200.
208.
It was counting.
208. And
I get that tattooed
And
somewhere.
on our end, you know, we're a group of guys, and we make guy golf content. And if we could host an event next to 208 female golfers, it's a win for our boys
so
as well.
be it.
You know, exactly. But it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Dobson, like, you guys pulled out the stops for us. You guys gifted us 4 rounds of golf, which we gave out during the prizes because we were able to use your guys' Top Tracer stuff to host challenges, which was super, super fun. I'll send you guys footage if you want, so you can maybe put this in.
Always.
Definitely.
It was so fun, and having the Top Tracer stuff just made it so easy to keep track of like what was going on, and you can see the ball flight. We did a long drive.
Yeah.
This professional long drive hitter, his name's Ken Monroe, came out and he can hit like 400 yards. And I was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "There's children here.
Yeah.
You do not need to be participating."
He knew
in it."
exactly what he was doing.
He did, but it was such a fun night. Such a fun night. And I think all our participants used their round of golf here. They loved it. It was a huge success. But yeah, we were hoping for 10 people, and I think we had like 40 show up. So
Dude,
for us, that's
sick.
crazy.
I remember when you talked about it on the
so
phone. You were
cool.
like,
Yeah.
"Hey man, like we'll buy the space, not a big deal. I don't know if we're gonna get 2 or if we're gonna get
Yeah.
200."
Yeah.
I was like,
We had no
I was like,
idea.
whatever you get,
That's a
man.
fun game to
let's
play.
do it.
Yeah, because you guys had a long drive hitter here.
Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martin came with. I don't think he came with. I think he just happened to be in town around the same time, and it worked out that he linked up with Good when they did their meetup.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had the Good meetup, and they ended up having Martin be a part of that match and all that stuff. And then the very next night was the original event he was here for, or at least here with us.
Yeah.
Doing his little showcase and promoting a supplement company that he's sponsored by and stuff like that. So yeah, but dude, crazy.
Yeah, it was for the Arizona people to just show out. We had a couple drive from Tucson.
Yeah,
And that
I
was just
remember
like
that.
so
That's
crazy
crazy.
for us that people came from Tucson who who just hang out with us in their living room and watch us play relatable golf content. It was special.
Yeah.
It was a really special night.
Yeah.
So thank you
That's
guys
so cool
for
to
that.
like get to meet your followers.
Yeah.
That's
and it
huge.
was all like the original, literally like our 3rd subscriber ever, son of Bob, Rob, was here. You know, and we've built like actual relationships with these people who have been supporting us for, almost a year now. So just really special.
I'm dying.
He's choked up. I'm choked
I
up
know,
too. I'm
like,
choked
wow.
up too.
Drinking
What's
water
in
is
the
really
water?
hard, dude.
That's because they Stanley shamed me. That's what you
I-
get.
Yeah, it's
I
totally
guess-
it's
I guess
karma. It's
so.
instant karma, and it's because I don't have a handle. Oh, I'm dying. But no, man, it was. I was really bummed that I missed both events, honestly. But
Yeah.
I know.
it worked out too because
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah.
another frequent question, and so I'd like to hear from you how it was, because for the ladies event, for those that don't know, Natalie hosted an absolute banger. She got 200 plus women. They all bought tickets and they all came out, and it was super cool because they just got to meet other women that are in golf, meet people in the Arizona market, get to meet instructors, and just hang out. And it was like the all-inclusive, come see golf, come be a part of it. And that was the other cool piece, was you guys have also posted content where you're playing with your significant others.
Yeah.
And so we tried to have people come out too, right? And bring them. And how was that, getting to meet those ladies that showed up, and get to drag them over to your guys' event and stuff like that? Did that end up panning out okay?
Yeah, I think I only saw a couple girls that kind of stayed on your side, but for good reason.
Yeah.
No, it was, and we did we call it contest corner, and so we did our long drive in close to the pin, right next to you. So it was cool to hear the hype from both sides of it. So
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, but it worked well for us too, because we, like you said, we have partners that have gotten into golf, which we love. We love that our ladies have joined us playing golf.
You're the minority. I'll just say it, dude. Just don't give them lessons.
No, they've joined us, and they're going through the beginner golf journey like all of us do. And so we get questions from people on hey, what's the best way to get my partner into golf like you guys have? And it's always scramble. Don't let your partner go out and hit 25 shots on a hole.
Dude,
They're scrambling with you. That's
wow,
number
you're
one.
trying to give them tips.
Correct.
Don't do that
Yeah,
either.
no. That's messy.
It's so it worked out really good to have, guys bring their wives, wives bring their guys, and then they could kind of just cross-pollinate and go off to the respective events. It was so nice.
It's like they can both like golf, and it gave
Yeah.
them a chance to both like golf in their own corner.
Correct.
And then once they both have a like for it, then they can do it together.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that we see a ton. Natalie probably sees it more than me because she's an actual golf coach.
Yeah.
But like when people are trying to pick up any hobby, so like we see it with golf, like I want to like golf because my boyfriend or my husband does, or my wife or whoever. And even people, my parents love golf, my in-laws love golf. And like if that's who is trying to teach you, dude, it's the hardest thing in the world.
It's really hard.
It's really tough.
There was one time when I was a starter here, and I was starting a couple. It was like later in the evening, and it was her very first time on the golf course. She had her clubs and all the things, and they were engaged. I remember that part. But he had her teeing off at the back tees. So what are we doing?
And I'm not laughing because she.
No.
Just, you know.
I was like, listen, I told him straight up, I was like, this is not going to be fun for you or you.
Yeah.
So y'all need to just tee off somewhere else or do alternate shot or do something that you can do to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I've told a guy who's like, yeah, I've never played a full length course before. I always play, and it's cool because they're like, I always play like Shalimar and Bel Air, and I was like, don't play back here. I was like, dude, go play the gold ones up there because this par 5 is number 1.
Yeah.
That's only like 30 yards ahead. Like it's still gonna be a long hole. I was like, you could play a different tee box on every hole. I don't care.
Yeah.
Just like have fun and don't think that you have to play back here because you do at these other courses. Like look at the scorecard, look at the yardage, and like have fun.
Yeah.
Don't like try and stress yourself out.
I love playing from the Reds. I'm a big advocate for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had a fun one. Same thing starting the other day. I had husband and wife. They were there early. It was great. They were nice and punctual. The other twosome that they were with made it like right on time, kind of the norm for afternoons. But it was funny because I'm standing there and I'm like, yeah, so I've got another 2 that's with you. And they do the classic, can we just not? And I was like, nah, there's like 7 more groups after you. I can't. Sorry, it's pretty busy.
Yeah.
And then I was like, not to judge, but the name's Amber. So I think because she, the wife was the one more worried. She's like, I'm getting back into it, and we're only golfing because I have a golf trip with my dad coming up, and all the same story pretty much. And I was like, well, maybe Amber and her friend are in the same boat. And so sure enough, I let them go to the tee, get their stuff ready. The twosome, it's two women come over, and they're like, do we have to go with them? I was like, funny thing is, they just said the same thing about you.
Go make friends.
Yeah, and so I got them up there, and I was like, man. I was like, I bet when I said the guy's name, I bet when he came golfing today, he thought he was going to be he didn't think he was going to be outnumbered, but I was like, ladies, you guys get to have fun. He's got to keep up with you. And it was cool because the ice was broken and they got to feel it all out. And no, they did great.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that. And I think all guys should really try to get your girls into golf. There's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
You get to take her out. She sees that. It's so funny. One of the conversations I used to have was like, what happens when the cart girl gets there? Like, what do you mean by that? Well, what do you guys talk about? Nothing. I'm thirsty. I just want my stickers and my Coke, and we go about our day. That's it? I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So, the partner gets to see all the interactions at the golf course. You can go on golf vacations.
There you
Cabo
go.
and an all-inclusive. There's a lot of benefits to getting your partner in golf.
Totally.
Absolutely.
A lot.
Yeah. And this is definitely a shot at a lot of other daily fee places, but as funny as the memes are about wanting to hit on the bev cart and all these things, there's a lot of places where the service isn't that good.
Yeah.
So really the golf cart, the bev cart interaction is she doesn't take her foot off the gas and she goes, "You good?" And then keeps going. Right. You know what I mean? But no, man. So that's cool. And we're just excited, the Top Tracer and you guys having your event out there. Yeah. How did it live up to your expectations? I know you said that the Top Tracer was great. It was fun to run the games on. Yeah. But how did it kind of stand up, or what do you think about, I guess, that side of it? Because you guys have a very specific niche, like golf, scrambles, and do you guys normally do the scrambles and tournaments, or you guys will just go out and play on
both,
your own?
Both. Yeah. We scramble tournaments are fun because you're involved with other people scrambling, and it's typically slower pace. But when we go out and play, and really for filming, we just scramble by ourselves because it's fun. We've all grown up with each other since we were 2 and 3 years old, so we're very, very competitive. And one of our videos that went viral was a real interaction to where we kind of wanted to fight with each other. And then after that, we're like, yeah, the matches aren't great because it just got too competitive. So
I was going to ask that earlier. You
right.
kept saying how competitive you all were,
Yeah.
and so you decided to make content around scrambles. So that's
Yeah,
now it
correct.
comes full
Yeah.
circle.
yeah, because
Makes
it was matches, and then it would be like two of us were super happy for the day, and then the other two were just like miserable.
Yeah.
And just became not nice. So.
Like, didn't want to talk about that video.
No, nothing. Yeah, exactly. So
It's like,
scrambles.
hey man, you didn't share the video on your page. It's
Correct.
like, yeah, why would I?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
Yeah, there's
lost.
a reason.
Exactly. So scrambles have helped with that. But no, the top tracer stuff is fantastic for us. We practice on the top tracer stuff because it helps with everything. You get to see your ball flight. A lot of people make the you guys get this a lot where it's like, well, is the yardage accurate? We had Brandon's drive where he hit 340 on the top tracer. They're like, someone says like it's a juiced up thing, and I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, I only hit 240 on this simulator. That's all I hit. Anyways, it's very, very accurate.
Yeah.
So like, how accurate is the top tracer stuff?
Yeah. So from what I've had explained to me, and Natalie might be able to explain it a little better in golf terms because she just knows that stuff better.
Yeah.
But like the simple ways that I put it for customers, I don't have time to go into like a thesis about how accurate it is or
Yeah.
isn't. I've noticed, at least at our range, so we have Callaway Strata balls. They're not limited flight. So the longer club and the more the higher your swing speed, the more you're compressing the ball, that's when there's going to be the biggest discrepancy on the lower end.
Okay.
So you're going to lose yardage. The average that I've heard thrown around is like 10 yards
Okay.
for like your driver, woods, long irons. And as your clubs get shorter, slower swing speed, you're compressing the ball less. I don't know if that's right necessarily, but you get more to true. I'd say by like your 8-9 iron and your wedges, depending on your actual personal swing speed, you're pretty much true.
Perfect.
Because now it's, you're not compressing the ball a ton. And to give the flip side, we have our course in Florida. They have limited flight balls because they have backyards in their range.
Okay.
But what Top Tracer has, so if anybody's ever curious if it's been tampered with on the back end, as operators, we don't have a way to do it, but they can do like a compensation. So they have Callaway limited flight balls, and Top Tracer, it's their business. So I'm glad they know about it, but like they knew which ball it is, so they know how much of a compensation to put to make it fairly true. And it says on the screen, like actual carry, real carry, like actual carry and like projected carry or whatever. So it's showing you both stats side by side, and it's only for certain parts of the games. So like if you've never played the virtual golf, when you putt, you don't putt, you do a chipping mini game.
Yep.
So that's all true, which makes sense because it's shorter, limited flight balls, only your limited flight, the harder you hit it. So to chip 100 yards with one, you're not losing much versus a 300-yard drive.
Yeah.
So, but when you're hitting it off the tee in virtual golf, it'll say you actually carried it 240 and the projected was 280 or something like that, right? Okay. So they have all those things kind of baked into it. But Natalie's got like a top golf background, so she could probably talk more to like the difference between the chipped balls and us getting to use range balls, which I think is probably the coolest thing when people understand that's there.
Yeah.
Right.
You said you weren't going to explain that well, but you just explained that
Yeah,
really
you
well.
explained that really well.
And that was the thesis. I can't do that every time. I usually just end it with like,
That's a tough
when you hit your longer clubs, it's about 10 yards off.
Yeah.
As you get shorter, it's pretty much right on, and they go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well,
And
that's perfect
Yeah.
because it's how I came to do my yardages when I got my new clubs. I don't know why everyone doesn't do this. If you get new clubs, go to a Top Tracer facility and hit 5 balls, take an average, and don't try to swing out your shoes. Take a actual golf shot, and then you get your averages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was super useful for us because we did a 100-yard exact carry.
Yeah.
So it was like 99, 99, 101,
Oh, yeah,
and
that
then
was sick.
finally someone hit that 100, and that would have been impossible to do without Top Tracer. So it was super, super fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one.
When are we going to do the next one?
We should do it. We as a group want to always make ours like free for people as a way to thank the people in Arizona for the support.
For sure. Dude, I ran into a guy at the Gilbert Farmers Market. I don't remember what his company was, but he was selling salsa.
Yeah.
So it's like a Mexican place or like just a salsa place. I don't know. But he also knows Jason. So he was like, oh, yeah, he saw our friends were embarrassing, but they were all wearing the Smash shirts walking around. They all matched, which was funny because they were in town visiting.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, do you guys work at Dobson? And they're like, no, but he does.
Yeah.
So I talked to him and he knew Jason. But then he said, he's like, yeah, I don't really golf a lot, but like I came out for the Mulligan Mafia meetup.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so it was hilarious. I was like, dude, I wasn't there. How was it? And he said it was an absolute blast. And it was actually, he was funny enough. He's like, and if I could just give you guys a piece of advice, I was like, oh, it wasn't our bit, but I'll take it. But it is something we can help with when people go to do this stuff. He's like, I just wish there was more structure. He's like, we all felt like high schoolers at a dance at first because like we all showed up and we were like, what do we do? So that's good to know now that like it sounds like once you guys had, hey, we're going to play these games or hey, everybody grab a name tag and meet someone new. Like, until you get the ball rolling, like it's good to know that guy was like, oh, I wasn't going to show up, and this is what I was scared of. And So
that's really good to know.
It was pretty funny. It was cool.
That's really good to know. Well, I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, that makes sense now that I think about it. It was for sure like a high school dance.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we were doing.
My brain cells couldn't put together a structure that day. I
winged the whole thing.
Winged
well,
the thing.
And that's the thing, right? So like it kind of even leads me to here are all these people that in one way, shape, or form have liked, commented, or DM'd you guys.
Yeah.
So you're the commonality as Mulligan Mafia, but they don't interact with each other.
Right.
So like that's been an interesting thing for me to just think about, and I think it's what led us to a value that I see in like our app and some of the stuff that you can do even with Top Tracer that like you can't do or it's not as seamless on like the golf course too, right? Like there's a lot of cool apps, 18 birdies, there's leaderboards, and there's a lot of things that are all centered around playing your friends in green grass golf, but then how do you counteract like, oh, I'm playing Dobson and someone else is playing Shalimar? Like those 9 holes are completely different. How is that fair?
Yeah.
Where we were like, well, Top Tracer standardized. Top Tracer is the same at every facility and they're cheaper. Yeah. And so I'm excited to see if we can pull that kind of stuff off because that would be the dream is now you get people who like you guys hanging out and talking to each other. It's like how streamers and gamers have their communities.
Yeah. And it's like we did see that and it's fun to see like the people, like the OG people who came. They all follow each other on social media. I think 2 of them actually end up playing a round of golf together, which was really nice to see. So people came out and made friends. Yeah. So but the Top Tracer playing matches with people like across the country / world is definitely something we want to get into. Yeah. With you guys.
Dude, we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure out how to do it.
Me and Brandon have beef with you and
Carson. Dude, Carson left, dude. He went back to college.
Well, he's coming back.
Yeah. We'll bring him back in for the match. We have to go out on the course.
Where's he at school?
Is he back at Park?
I think so.
Yeah, so he went back to where he was in school. He took like a year off because he hurt his back. He wanted to save his eligibility. So he's going back to play basketball, which is really cool. I think he had like a year or 2 left in school to do. So he's finishing that off. But dude, so he's still in town. So we'll get him. He still plays, him and his dad, dude, him and Mike. They still come out. So
because we got annihilated on camera.
Yeah. It just goes to show Top Tracer. I never saw you guys post that video talking about what we were talking about earlier.
There is no video of that.
But dude, I would love to go out and humiliate myself on the golf course. It'd be great. Yeah. So we'll see. We should play 9 balls and 9 holes. See how many I end up with.
Yeah. We should do 9 on 9 on our turf.
Yeah.
Which is
I like
the real stuff.
9 versus 9, dude.
And then 9 on your stuff.
I like that.
Yeah. Do any of the guys or all of the guys of Mulligan Mafia, any of you guys like spicy food?
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Do you?
Where's this go? No, I do not. Because
who does? Who's the one?
Shane and Lyle.
Do.
I'm aware that spicy food, you experience spicy food twice.
Totally. Yeah, that's fair.
There's hidden. He's not saying the real stuff right
Does
now.
Brandon like spicy food or no? Just Shane and Lyle?
Why?
Shane and Lyle.
Yeah.
Dude, because I want to do a 1-chip challenge on the Top Tracer.
No.
See,
I will bring a gallon of milk.
Would one of them do it with us?
They would.
Dude, for sure.
Shane would do it, and Shane's your guy to do it.
So at this point, we've got me.
Yeah.
I conned Maverick into doing it with me. Winston was like, oh, well, I want to try a chip. I was like, great, you'll play golf with us while we do it.
Yeah.
And then he said Shane is the one that would be down.
He's perfect.
So we'll get him. So now it's a 4-person scramble, Natalie.
Yeah.
We'll do.
I love it for the concept, but I'm scared for y'all.
We're going to do 9 holes.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do, because you traditionally flip tees, right, to pick who goes in what order when you're golfing.
Yep.
We're going to play a scramble on Top Tracer. We'll play 9 holes. And for every hole that we don't get a par, like anything we bogey or worse, which shouldn't happen. We're playing a scramble on Top Tracer, which is easier than real golf. We have to eat a chip, but we'll go 1 by 1. So like if I draw the short straw and I go first, I eat it immediately following, say, the first hole.
Yeah.
And then I got to play the rest of the round with that. Yeah. And then the next guy. So if we only get 1 bogey, I'm the only one that suffers. Worst case, we get 9 chips, and we got to eat one after every hole.
Yeah, I love this.
You already agreed to it, so it doesn't matter.
We'll be here to film it.
You're
going to
volunteer him to do it.
Yeah, 100%. And Shane's your guy.
Shane's our guy.
Shane's
I love that.
Well, and it's funny how the timing worked. Now that I just looked it up, like they're dropping their new chip in like a week, on like the 9th.
Yeah, I can't do spicy.
So I was like,
Neither can
Natalie,
I.
can you?
I'm a wimp.
I was like, I can't either. So that's gonna be the best part. I really want to. So I'm like, if I go shock my system, then nothing else will.
Are you
ever
someone
get
who
there.
experiences spicy food twice? Do you get what I'm saying by that?
I get what you're saying. It depends, honestly. Like I got a gift. I got some of the Last Dab ones from like that guy that does the Hot Ones interviews.
Yeah.
And so I got the Last Dab, that bottle that's like supposed to be insane. Like that one, it was really hot. I was fine the rest of the day. So I didn't see that one twice. But then like I'll do something like I'll get Barrow's Pizza and I'll get a spicy Southwest and just buffalo sauce. And like that one every once in a while will tear me up. Yeah. So it's weird. It's hit or miss.
Yeah, and I stay away from spicy food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learned my lesson.
The thing that keeps me away from it, honestly, and I know a lot of people share the sentiment, is I am down for it to be really spicy, but if it just tastes bad, like that's lame. Like,
Can you even taste it when it's that spicy though?
so sometimes like there's some like hot sauces that are like still taste good, but like you're on fire for a while. And then there's some of them that are just like hot and taste gross. Like it's inedible.
It's just not enjoyable.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
So,
But I'll be here for it.
I'll be behind
Yeah,
the
you guys
camera.
be here
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious.
so
Yeah,
all
absolutely
right, dude.
hilarious.
It's official.
Yeah.
I've said it for real. We can do it now. We have to
All
do
right.
it now.
Yeah,
So,
we're going to. So
We're going to.
We could like maybe mix the teams. So we'll have like 2 people eating the hot chips and 2 of us on like your guys' team. We could do like a versus maybe or something.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
If we just buy 100 chips, we could do whatever we want. We can figure out that just
much
do
are
all
these
sorts of
chips?
things. I don't know.
Or whoever hits
Yeah.
the worst shot for every scramble has to take half a bite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Eat a piece of it.
Yeah.
Full chip or no chip?
Half it because that's a lot. It's every shot essentially.
chip.
I can say that because I'm not eating the
Yeah.
chips.
No,
So.
for sure. Yeah. It would be like you got to play a par 5 if you're going to
Yeah.
do that one.
Yeah.
But or everyone eats a chip except for whose shot you're taking.
We'll
Just has that-
we'll get
has
the
that-
details
we'll table
together.
it.
Don't
We'll
worry.
That'll be our debut.
Yeah.
We'll do 4 people. We'll play 9 holes, and we'll have a random order.
Yeah.
And just every time, maybe we should up the stakes because 4-person scramble now. We'll do
I'm stressed.
everything we
I'm
don't
getting
birdie.
scared. I'm getting sweaty.
It's everything we don't birdie. If we
like
don't
that.
birdie or better, so if we
like
get
that.
a par, bogey, or worse,
Yeah.
whoever's next in line has to eat the chip.
Has someone told you look like the guy from that series?
No.
You've never been
Dude,
told that?
No. Funny enough, the one I've been told is Justin Timberlake. I got that one a lot
I
as a
can see
kid.
that.
I can see
I can
that,
see
yeah.
that.
Or the Travis Matthews guy. I'll show you in the pro shop. There's
Yeah.
the stock photo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look like him when I
Okay.
have this beard.
Interesting.
I get that a
Yeah.
lot. So, but no,
Right.
thanks, man.
Yeah. Well,
I'll do it.
I want to say thank you both for
Thank
having
you.
me. This
Dude.
was a lot of fun.
It's always fun. Come back anytime.
Sure.
Bring your friends if you want, or just you keep doing it.
I told them that I was like, I'm going on a pod. They're like, why you? I was like, well, I'm like the Michael Jackson of the group. You guys just
There's always one.
yeah, you guys just hang out. I'm working on my solo career.
Yeah, you guys just keep missing putts, all right?
Yeah. Exactly.
You're doing great.
So cool. And thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, go check them out. Mulligan Mafia. It's the same across all platforms, right?
All of it.
So all of it, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you name it, they're there missing putts or putting in front of the Chase Tower.
Which are it's not fake either.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
You have some that drop too.
Yeah,
like
well,
you
for
get some
sure.
putts that drop.
I've had
Like
like
you
a
post those
60-footer
ones.
here at Dobson. But
Yeah.
everyone was quiet about that one.
Yeah,
But it's fine.
Nobody watched that video.
Yikes.
So, but we'll see you guys soon. And if you get ideas for what we should do for the hot chip challenge,
Yeah.
let us know. I'll make them do it.
Thanks. That was so fun.